week 8 of the fantasy football season. Here's a few tight ends. I have his sleepers this week. The first tight end, Noah Fant of the Cincinnati Bengals. Noah Fant out there in 98% of fantasy leagues. Mike Gesicki, he's going to be out a while, and he's been out since week 6 with a pec injury. So the last 2 games, since he's got an expanded role, is Fant. He's playing better. Week 6 at Green Bay, 4 catches, 27 yards. And week 7 versus Steelers, a nice game. 4 catches, 44 yards, a touchdown. So week 8, a good matchup versus the Jets. Give up the 10th most fantasy points to tight ends on the season. Their linebacking crew isn't all that great, and they are the worst team in the league at 0-7. So with this offense rolling over the last couple weeks here, Cincinnati, and defenses are obviously going to pay attention to Chase and Higgins. I think this week Noah Fant could go out there in a pretty favorable matchup, and he's a good sleeper option. Next tight end, Theo Johnson of the New York Giants. Surprisingly, still out there in 79% of fantasy leagues. Here's Theo Johnson, and he's had double-digit fantasy games 3 out of 4 games since Jackson Dart has stepped into the starting lineup for this Giant team. Week 5 in New Orleans, 6 catches, 33 yards, found the end zone twice, 7 targets. Week 6 versus Philadelphia, 2 catches, 27 yards. And then last week at Denver, it was a fluky touchdown. It bounced off of Wan'Dale Robinson. He caught it and took it to the end zone for 41 yards. Finished that game, 3 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown on 7 targets. So this week at Philadelphia, where he did have the down game, week 6 versus Eagle defense, 2 catches, 27 yards. But I think the outcome, I think this ball game is going to be different than it was in week 6, where the Giants took them by surprise and obviously beat the Eagles pretty badly, 34-17 in that game. But this game, I think the Eagles didn't come out, try to set the tone like they did last week at the Minnesota Vikings, and the Giants could be chasing points in this one. So Theo Johnson, definitely a tight end. That's one of the better options in this Giant offense. And a sleeper this week, the next tight end, Colston Loveland of the Chicago Bears. He's out there as well, 8% of fantasy leagues. It looks like Komet's not going to play in this game. And Loveland, I think he's due to get things going in this offense. This season, he hasn't had one double-digit fantasy game. He was a 10th overall pick in the NFL draft, where they took him over impressive rookie Tyler Warren, which obviously is looking like a mistake right now in their first seasons. But Colston Loveland, he's a freak athlete, and he had a great college career. So at the tight end position, we'll see if Ben Johnson could get him going in this offense and add another weapon, obviously, to the Chicago Bear team that's won 4 in a row now. Week 6 at Washington, 2 catches, 11 yards. And week 7 versus New Orleans, 3 catches, 24 yards. Obviously, like I said, he's going to get more work with Cole Kmet most likely missing this game. And someone besides Rome Odunze in the passing game has to step up for this Chicago Bear team, I think, for them to keep this going. And this week at Baltimore, they do give up the 8th most fantasy points to tight ends on the season. And their defense is banged up and hasn't been good all season long. So that's a few tight ends I have as sleepers for week 8 of the fantasy football season.